Costa Rica crime and how safe is Costa Rica? Welcome to my video of today. My name is Muriel from the Sunshine family, living in Costa Rica since 2018 already with my husband Dirk and 2 growing up kids, and my channel is dedicated to share everything I have learned myself. So you can benefit from all my mistakes and from all my learnings. And if you are new to this channel, consider to subscribe by hitting that little icon you see here on the screen or go to the description below. I am very driven to help you make Costa Rica your best stay ever. Whether that is because you are looking into Costa Rica travel or into becoming a brand new Costa Rica expat. I'm an expat myself and I have experienced Costa Rica as super safe, but I would lie if I would not teach you what to pay attention to when it comes down to preventing robbery, which is here, to how to prevent crime, which is here. So yeah, just stick to my video to the end to learn as much as possible. And of course, I'm not the Costa Rica expert. I just share everything I've learned myself. So I just wanted to highlight that and leave your comments or replies below if you have some thoughts you want to share with me, things that I forgot, some experiences you have yourself, and of course all the tips are welcome. And for all those wondering, what do you do in Costa Rica to make your living? Well, I'm an online business coach. I'm an entrepreneur. I have several income streams online, and I do teach others around the world how to set up an online business. But for that information, I would like to refer you to the information you find below this video. You will see some links. You can follow those to learn more and how to connect with me. Okay, so let's talk about that crime in Costa Rica and how safe is it really? Well, I just came home from San Jose to run some errands, and I was in an Uber, and we were in a really bad neighborhood, and I noticed that the Uber driver was locking the doors of the car, and I was like, heck, that is a different reality of my world. So I live on the peninsula de Nicoya between Montezuma and Santa Teresa, and yes, I have heard stories about people being robbed in Costa Rica, especially tourists in rental cars, broken cars open and all their valuables were gone. Also well-known theft in Costa Rica is the beach bungalows, the safety boxes where most tourists put all their valuables are the target number 1 for thieves and robbers. And that is of course my very first tip, how to prevent being robbed in Costa Rica and how to limit crime. Don't put yourself in the spotlight being a potential target. But what can you do? That may be your thoughts right now. Suppose that you have booked your Costa Rica vacation or you're planning on traveling in Costa Rica. What can you do? Well, first of all, I would always rent a beach bungalow or a beach home when there is surveillance, when there is a guard, when it is a compound. I have rented a beautiful large beach bungalow in my very first vacation in Costa Rica. It was at the beach in Dominico. It was beautiful, but there was 24/7 a guard, and that not like an armed guard in the face, but it was always someone surveilling the 3 beach houses that were there. So for robbers, for the bad people who want to rob happy tourists, it was a no-go. It would have not been working. It was very safe. Also, there's these compounds right at the beach where there's a wall around it, protection. Basically, you're not by yourself there. So when you are having fun with your family at the beach, there's always someone taking care of your valuables. So that's my very tip number 1. Tip number 2 is when you are traveling through Costa Rica as a tourist, or when you're a brand new expat, you probably are using a rental car, and rental cars are very recognizable for potential robbers and thieves to think, there's my targets. Now, gladly, I've never had to use it myself, but I advise you to have a false safety package. So let's take like this is my tip. Have a wallet, a fake wallet, a fake wallet with in there like an expired card, cash, something that looks like a travel insurance card, perhaps an expired passport, something that looks very valuable and very real. Perhaps you have an old broken iPad or a laptop, and just make a false valuable bag that if you are robbed on your way, it happens sometimes at riversides where you have to cross a river where there's no people living. I don't want to frighten you, but there are parts of Costa Rica that you must be prepared for that. So when they want to rob you, you can hide your real valuables and give the fake bag. That might make you feel safer. Tip number 3 to prevent being robbed and really have a bad experience in Costa Rica is to always stay in better neighborhoods, right? If you are going to San Jose, especially for the first night because you landed in Alajuela at the airport, don't stay in downtown San Jose. Don't go for the cheapest hotel, the closest. I would say just find an Airbnb or a hotel in Santa Ana or Escazú where there's a guard. That's what I always do, and it doesn't have to be very expensive. There's lots of Airbnbs that way or hotels who provide that safety. So think about the neighborhoods, and that's not just for San Jose, that's also in Mexico City, that's in Paris, that's even in my hometown, The Hague. And let's be real as well. Costa Rica is a very safe country to live here as an expat and to travel here as a tourist or as, to have vacation or a long-term travel. But there's theft everywhere around the world. Even in the Netherlands where I come from, it's everywhere. So don't be naive. Okay, so what helps is those things. Let me see if I wrote down some other tips. So I basically, a very important tip is, even if you don't speak Spanish at all, practice some Spanish sentences that if people want to rob you or whatever, that you can say something that sounds that you're very, very local. Something like, hey, just go away, leave me alone, I'm not stupid, or something like. Just practice some sentences that you would say in your own language if someone tries to rob you, because there is a big difference. I just heard it from a friend. She was almost robbed because she's an expat. She lives here for 20 years. Her car broke, so she was driving in a rental car because her car was at the garage. And she noticed that when she came out of a shop, someone was trying to break open her rental car. So she said in fluent Spanish, hey, what the heck do you think you're doing? This is a rental car. My own car is broke. Please don't break the lock, stupid, whatever she said. And that person was shocked that she was fluent Spanish and just left, like being flabbergasted that she was fluent Spanish. So it doesn't have to be a whole conversation, but just pretend that you're speaking Spanish and they think, oh shoot, there are no tourists. They are not a good target. So that might help you. So these were solutions for theft in the face, like being robbed, like broken in the house. Also, don't put all your valuables in the safety box in your rental, because that is always target number 1. I would just spread it out and hide things as well. But the safety box is always target number 1 wherever you stay. Especially, so if you are in a protected bungalow on the beach whatsoever, I would not worry so much about it, because then you can depend on the guards. But just remember this. Thieves know where tourists put their valuables. It's in the safety box. So find a creative way to not put everything in there, so if someone breaks it open, that you lost everything. Okay, so that was all crime in the face, right? I also saw, like in San Jose, I was driving and I really saw people who were about to open up the door of the car and would just grab your bag and run away. That's why the Uber drivers lock their doors in those neighborhoods. We were trespassing through San Jose to get to our Airbnb in Escazú. But there's also crime that's not in the face. Hidden crime. And what do I mean with hidden crime? Well, that is that people try to steal from you in another way. So making commissions on you, for example, for information for example, that also happens on visa run. If you are a perpetual tourist, random strangers approach you and say, I will guide you to the next step if you've never done a visa run to Panama or Nicaragua. And those people, they ask money. That's totally not part of the visa run. So don't trust any strangers. If people offer to help you out of the blue, often they get paid some kind of commission, and often you pay a higher price. So if you're renting a rental from someone who is helping you, it's very normal that the person referring you is earning a commission. So be aware of that. It doesn't have to be bad, it can be a good thing, but sometimes it is bad, exponential high commissions, and you pay exponential higher prices, then it's bad. What's also very bad is when a brand new Costa Rica expats are, about to buy property, buy land, buy a house, that it is a really bad quality property or house, real estate. Always do your due diligence and work with a trustable attorney. The trustable attorney will be the one who can discover that the land is not to be sold by that person because it's on someone else's name. That's crime. That happens a lot in Costa Rica. Or that pieces of land without any access to water or a public road are being sold as magnificent properties with ocean views. But trust my word, it's total useless to buy land without water or without a public road entrance, because you are not allowed to build on land where there's no water access, meaning no water meter, municipality meter, or a registered well. So please allow a registered attorney, a trustable attorney, to do due diligence for you to define if that piece of land that you find very beautiful because of its ocean view, for example, is really that valuable at the end of the day. Because I know people who were robbed indirectly that way, so not with a gun on their heads, but just bought pieces of land that was owned by someone else, and that was a disaster. They were building their house and had to cancel continuing the building because they were building basically the house on someone else's property. That's crime too, right? That's all here, corruption in a way. What else hidden crime is there? Let me think. Well, I basically think that it's well known all around the world that taxi drivers without meters trying to rob you if you apparently do not speak the language, if apparently you're not familiar in the neighborhood. So what I always do, even if there is no Ubers, or if there are Ubers and they're not driving whatsoever, just discover what the real price of a ride is. If you're going somewhere and there's no Ubers, like at the Peninsula de Nicoya, it's very hard to define how much you pay. Taxi costs here at the peninsula, close by Santa Teresa, is way more expensive than in San Jose. But I always ask around what usually the normal price is between A to B by taxi. So in San Jose it's easy. You can check the route on Uber and see the price, and then you can can compare it with a taxi price in the red taxi. But usually when there's a meter, it's okay. But of course, if you're not familiar in the area, the meter taxi can take a very long route, and that's like indirect robbery too, right? You pay way more. So actually what I wanted to highlight is that you must be prepared. Know where you're going. Do due diligence. If you know that you're going to stay in a specific area, do some due diligence. Ask in some specific area Facebook groups like, hey, I foresee that I need transportation, taxi, Ubers. Do you know what's the common price to pay to go from A to B by taxi? And of course, sometimes the prices fluctuate depending on the road conditions and stuff, especially here. But don't be indirectly robbed by a taxi driver. It's not hard. Prepare, speak some Spanish, know where you're going. Don't pay only with $20,000 coupons, colones, in a taxi or an Uber, because probably they will say, I don't have change. Always work with smaller coupons like 2,000 colones, 5,000 colones, 10,000 colones, but don't have too big coupons of 20, 50 or 100,000 colones, because it's easy to be indirectly robbed, because they can say, I don't have any change. So that's a stupid situation to be in, honestly. And yeah, I hope that helps you to see that Costa Rica can be fun, but know where you're going. Don't be naive, please. And robbery and theft and crime is everywhere in the world, even in the most fancy towns, in the most fancy cities. So don't think that now whole Costa Rica is full of crime. It is not. But also I had a stranger standing on my property the other day because my gate was open, and I was like, you know, I also learned that you should never trust anyone just like that in Costa Rica. But that's basically everywhere. But there's also so many awesome, friendly and helpful people who are willing to help you no matter what. So have the faith in the good of people, but don't be naive at the same time. So I hope that helps you to make your stay in Costa Rica really awesome. And about, you know, Costa Rica crime and how safe is Costa Rica. I hope it all makes sense that I shared, and let me know if it was helpful for you. That would help me make more quality videos in the near future. So with that being said, thank you for watching my video. Thanks for subscribing and for putting your thumbs up and for sharing your thoughts below in the comments. And I'm looking forward to meeting you one day in Costa Rica. This was Muriel from the Sunshine Family. Take care.